Florida is home to the only coral reef in the continental United States. The same challenges troubling the Everglades are affecting this critically important ecosystem. Factors like pollution, along with climate change, have destroyed more than 90% of this vital coral reef. Fortunately, scientists at Mote Marine Laboratory are working urgently to turn the tide. I'm with Celia, she's a marine biologist. I'm with my friend Heide Cypress, a member of the tribe. Now, Heidi, your passion is politics. What made you want to connect with this story?
I really want to be able to understand the way I could effectively advocate for my tribe and our environment out there. We do believe that all waterways are connected.
Celia, the coral reefs are in trouble today. Why?
The biggest thing is just human influence. Like you said, everything is connected, and with human populations living so close to these coral reefs, sewage runoff, fertilizer runoff, we also have increased levels of carbon entering our ocean, and anything that happens can affect our coral reefs.
70% of every saltwater fish species in some way has a connection to a coral reef.
The whole purpose of our lab is to produce new coral babies to be used for coral restoration.
In Celia's lab, ultraviolet light and high-powered microscopes give us a unique, one-of-a-kind look at one of these coral babies that have been grown here. To observe, we slip on safety glasses to protect our eyes from the high-powered light.
Right here is the mouth of the coral, and then you have their fluorescent tissue as well as the red algae that lives in their tissue. And when I zoom in a little bit closer, you can actually see the detail in the individual cells a lot more. So that's his mouth. You can see these tentacles right here are able to sting and paralyze microscopic prey.
So how old would this particular coral be?
Yeah, so this coral is about 7 months old, and eventually it will start to grow new polyps out of the side. And you can see that process is actually happening on the side here where these little green specks are.
It's budding.
It is. It's growing out radially, and you can see that's a brand new mouth right there. That is just forming, and eventually it will develop tentacles and all the other features that you saw on that primary or the first polyp that developed.
To cultivate these corals, Celia and her team recreate precise conditions of a natural spawning event. Since corals typically spawn at night, they use red light, since corals can't detect it.
We're about to observe corals reproduce. So they are broadcast spawners, and what we do on site is we allow them to go through that process in a controlled environment in our laboratory. We're going to collect them and put them in these tubes, and then we know who each of the parents are, and then we're going to cross them together and make coral babies later. So what we're about to see is those corals are about to set, so they're going to release their gamete bundles soon, and when they float up to the top, we're going to collect them into our tubes. So, yeah, just be really gentle and grab it, and then gently put it into your tube.
So Celia, can you please explain why we are doing this in a lab rather than doing it outside where their natural home is?
Yeah, so we're actually seeing a near complete failure of natural reproduction in the wild. So that's why we as scientists have to step in and make sure that this process is still occurring in a controlled environment.
Heidi, it's so bad that we are actually potentially the last generation to see wild corals off of Florida. This is kind of like an aquatic ark.
It is very scary. However, we have had so much success and so much evidence that is showing that our corals are more resilient to current ocean conditions and that we are able to tackle this using science-based restoration.